our intellect is what can give our intuition form in some way. Like for example, yung intuition mo, 'di ba? Ang dami mo nakukuha downloads. What do you do with those downloads? 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
You give it form. I believe that these downloads are given to us for a reason. Like it's not really just meant to be kept to
Mm-mm.
yourself. Like why? If you think about it, what's the purpose of all of these divine messages if you're not going to use it for the greater good, 'di ba?
Yes. Welcome to the Seven Dimensions of Wellness, the podcast that helps you reassess your habits and helps you progress. The seven dimensions are as follows: spiritual, physical, emotional, career, intellectual, environmental, and social. Reassess, progress. This is the Seven Dimensions of Wellness. And welcome back to the Seven Dimensions of Wellness, the podcast that reassess your habits and helps you progress. I'm your host, Jerome Paul. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So, runners, it's the third week of the Seven Dimensions of Wellness. Thank you so much for all the love you've been giving me, all the love that you've been giving Pathways, especially last episode. Like, sobrang dami ko natutunan doon about shadow work. But tonight's dimension is intellectual. Yeah. And it's all about maintaining curiosity and expanding our knowledge. Our guest tonight has been in the content creation industry for over 2 decades. 2 decades now. We're able to witness her journey from cosplaying, gaming, music, and tarot. She is one of the newest alchemists of Pathways community. Let's all welcome Ashley Gosiengfiao. Hi, Ate Ash. Good
Hello. Good
evening.
evening. Just to clarify, in 2 decades. Since I was 1 year old. So I'm just 21 right now. Just
Mm,
kidding.
let's do the math. Ayan. So yes, thank
Also,
you, Ate Ash. Oh yes.
yeah, my cat is
Ooh.
also here. Gypsy. Hello.
Hi, Gypsy. Welcome to the podcast.
Ayan.
Hi.
Meron akong moral support dito.
Oh yes. She knows. She knows like what she's about to
Mhm.
happen. I want to join in the conversation.
But you cannot talk.
Ayan. Thank you. So, Ate Ash, of course, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Any notable experiences lately?
Hmm. Okay. So, well, you've introduced me pretty well. So, I'll just say that ang hirap pala ano, no, introduce yung sarili ko ngayon kasi
Oh
I
my
think
god.
I'm gonna need to back
Mm-mm.
up from the start.
Okay, okay.
So, sige,
Mm-mm.
in my mundane life, I am a gamer. I'm a content creator, more on lifestyle, beauty, gaming, music, and recently, for the past 2 years, I've been delving into spirituality, to various intuitive practices such as the tarot, astrology, human design,
Mm-mm.
and as well, my favorite definitely is the healing part. So Jerome did mention that I'm one of Pathways alchemists, and it's, I would say, probably my best achievement in my entire life. Because that was the hardest thing that I've ever had to go through. And I'm so proud of myself for being able
Yay!
to do that. And si Jerome, ikaw na yung next.
Oh my god, wait lang. Oh my, thank you. Congratulations,
Mhm.
Ate. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Ayan. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, since Gypsy is there. Okay, like
Yes.
Gypsy is there. Hi, Gypsy. There we go. Last Sunday, by the time we're recording this, Ate Ash was one of the guest speakers then for
Oh, yeah.
MeowCon.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, we did have a meow talk
Mm-mm.
during the MeowCon. It was, I think, the first ever MeowCon na naging expo. Kasi they used to hold small events before, and then this was the first time they tried to do, like, to turn it into like a legit convention. So I'm glad
Mm-mm.
to have been a part of that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
I
Ate.
speaking of
Oh,
animals, that's
yes.
also another of those things that I've been delving into lately, animal communication and healing. So so that's just one of those intuitive a bit activities, intuitive practices that I've been delving into as of late.
See, runners maintaining curiosity and expanding your knowledge. See, like we can always learn new things.
Yes,
Always. Always.
always.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Ate Ash. And of course, I would like to ask all of the guests then dito sa Seven Dimensions of Wellness. I asked Mommy J, I asked Ate Det. The question is, how did our paths cross before? Ayan.
Paano nga ba, Jerome?
Um,
So, I
mhm.
remember the first time I ever heard from you. Ito talaga, Gypsy, huy! Okay, gusto
Hi,
niyang
hi, Gypsy.
mag-join.
Okay, okay.
So, the first time I ever heard from Jerome
Mm-mm.
was through an email, I believe.
Mm-mm. Yes,
You
yes. Mm-mm.
emailed me about this podcast if I could guest on this
Mm-mm.
podcast a year ago. And you know what? Meron siyang connection with the topic today of timing and intuition because my intuition told me like, yes, go for it because this is gonna be the first time I'll be talking about my spirituality on a podcast.
Yes.
So when I saw that email, I was so happy, honestly. Like I was
Oh.
parang, wow, someone's recognizing me for what I'm doing now. And
Mm-mm.
then yung nagka-problema yata was the timing.
Oh,
Because
yes.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
I went back and went through our emails. Tapos
Mm-mm.
kaya pala din siya hindi natuloy was because of scheduling problems, 'di
Mm-mm.
ba? Parang so and then hindi na siya natuloy
Oh, yes.
until today,
Yeah.
a year after, which I
Uh-uh.
believe is divine timing. So, okay lang din.
It is. I was very excited din talaga kasi ate when I found out your healing journey started na. I saw your journey through your Twitter and then that's where I saw your tweet about pathways and then the rest is history. The rest is
Yay.
history. Like eto na, like, okay, 1 year later, I'm with pathways.
Yes. Yes, I'm so happy that you're with Pathways. So proud of
Mm-mm.
you and your journey as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, ate. There we go. So yeah, that's how our paths cross. That's how
Yes,
our paths cross.
pretty much.
Yes. Oh, and speaking of, we already talked about it a little bit that you started your healing journey about a year ago ish. At least that's what I was able to remember. They say
Mhm.
it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So, how did your spiritual awakening come about? Ooh.
Okay. So it was okay, my awakening was
Mm-mm.
actually around 2.5 years ago na. But
Mm-mm.
I feel like I need to tell you a bit about my childhood para
Mm-mm.
makita natin yung bigger picture. So,
Okay.
I was always the kid who had these quote unquote psychic abilities. So when I was around 4, 5, or 6 years old, my
Mm-mm.
mom kasi would always tell this story about me waking up from an afternoon nap, like
Mm-mm.
panicking now. And then I went to her and told her why I was crying because I just woke up and then I told her si daddy nalalaglag from a mountain. Like dad's falling off of a mountain or something. And my mom got so worried kasi apparently at the time my dad was in Batangas yata or something. Talagang
Ooh.
umaakyat siya ng bundok, literal,
Okay.
and he
Mhm.
slipped. He did slip. So, doon pa lang, bata pa lang ako, I've been the astral traveler already.
Oh.
And,
Mm,
actually, I didn't know about that story until recently when all of this,
mm.
presented itself to me again. Kasi I also sabi din ng mom ko na I would also talk to some friends in the garden.
Oh,
friends. Tapos sabi
okay.
niya, natakot daw sila when I would have like imaginary friends and then I would tell them, "Wag kayong matakot, naglalaro lang sila."
Oh my.
So,
Mm-mm.
I don't even remember all of these memories
Mm-mm.
until the first memory I've had of these things was when I was around 8 years old, I believe, when
Mm-mm.
nahilig ako sa witchcraft because of the
Oh.
movies like The Craft, mga ganyan, Charmed.
Ah, okay, okay.
So, yun yung naging hilig ko. And then thankfully, my dad was also into all of these weird things. So
Mm-mm.
he was supportive of my interest in these
Yes.
things. Kasi
Mm-mm.
siya din mahilig sa mga Atlantis, sa
Ah,
pyramids.
okay.
So I remember going to National Bookstore to buy my first psychic and magic books. There was one book on ESP pa yung tawag doon. Sa intuition
Mm-mm.
ngayon, dati
Okay,
ang
okay.
tawag extrasensory perception. So I got my first ESP book when I was around 8. And then that was also the time I got a witchcraft book called Everyday
Mm-mm.
Magic.
Ah.
Yeah, so which to this day is still alive. And that's why I was awakened 2 years ago because at the height of the pandemic, so I
Mm-mm.
was I was ano na I was living independently na for a few
Mm-mm.
years. And then a year after the pandemic, after COVID broke,
Mm-mm.
um, parang na claustrophobia ako dito sa condo. So
Oh, mm.
So I decided to go back home. And
Mm-mm.
then a few months later of living in the house again with my family, I decided to go through my old bookshelf. And
Okay.
then I found my old magic book. And I was like, "Uy, ang
Ah!
cute naman." Kasi meron
Oo.
pa akong notes doon, meron pa akong pad paper na nakasulat yung
Mm.
candles ko, like every color, like how many candles I have
Ah,
left
it's so cute.
of each color, ganyan.
Oo.
Tapos may mga spells akong ginagawa sa jacuzzi ng mom ko
Mm.
without her knowing.
Oh, oh, oh,
So,
okay.
pero alam
Mm.
na niya ngayon kasi
Okay, okay. Mm.
umamin na ako. "Mom, I used to cast spells in your jacuzzi."
Mm.
So, um, and then so after that, I reminisced and I remembered how I would collect crystals back then.
Mm.
When I was a kid, bumibili na ako ng crystals. I remember there was this stall in SM Mega Mall that we would go to every week, and I
Mm.
believe to buy crystals. Tapos
Mm.
nagse-save talaga kami ng
Ah.
baon for that, kami ng ate
Mm.
ko. And
Mm.
then so I just remembered, "Uy, I used to collect crystals. Why don't I start collecting again since I have the money now? Like I can buy anything
Oh!
that I want now." Parang that was yun talaga yung thought process
Mm.
ko at the time. So then I started collecting again, and then the first store that I bought from sa Instagram,
Mm.
uh, yung seller, uh, bigla na lang siyang nagsabi, "You're an empath, you're ganto, ganto, ganyan." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
What?
Parang
Okay.
kung ano
That's
'to?
weird. Oo.
Bumibili lang ako, bumibili lang
Oo.
ako. Bumibili lang ako ng crystals kasi cute. Tapos
Mm.
tapos biglang yun na yung mga sinasabi niya sa'kin and I thought at the time, "Ano 'to, wrong send?" "Ano 'to? What's going on?"
Mm.
And then dun ako nabuksan na, wait, there's this whole other world, a whole
Hmm.
another magical world that I was not aware of, or maybe I was aware of when I was younger, and then nung
Mm.
pagtanda ko, syempre, since conditioning
Yes.
na that's weird, that's all your imagination. I
Mm.
learned to suppress that part of me, that to repress that part of me. And
Mm.
then growing up kasi I became that type of person na jock.
Ah,
So
yeah,
athlete
I get
ako,
you.
alam mo
Mm.
'yun? So
Mm.
athlete ako, musician. So like all those, very Well, I wouldn't say mundane, pero yeah,
Mm-mm.
mundane. Mundane things na
Mm-mm.
pero I was very fulfilled because I really enjoyed playing volleyball. I really enjoyed being in
Mm-mm.
bands, playing music.
Mm-mm.
And then napunta din ako sa cosplay because of my sister. Nahatak
Mm-mm.
niya ako into that world, and then
Mm-mm.
so it was a very unmagical life, I would say, until nga that I started collecting crystals again. And
Oh.
then from there I did some past life regressions. And then I learned how to meditate. I actually learned how to meditate years before my
Mm-mm.
awakening, but I only did it to overcome my insomnia.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Tapos, because at the time, i-intro ko na yung meditation because that's a very important part of enhancing or developing your intuition. Pero, so
Yes.
at the time, years before my awakening, I learned how to meditate because I was having trouble sleeping. I tried everything. I tried melatonin, sleeping pills. I tried to drink red wine every night. I mean, for a time, it worked. Pero my body became accustomed to all of that stuff. Tapos nawawalan na ako ng pag-asa until I heard about meditation, and then I was like, okay, I will learn how to clear my mind so that I could get some sleep. Yun lang talaga yung naging effective sa insomnia ko. And
Ooh.
then I
Mm.
did that regularly for years until I tried meditating with a crystal.
Ah, yan na.
Oo. So, parang
Mm-mm.
may narinig ako na, You should try meditating with a crystal since you meditate already. Why not hold a crystal while you do it?" I was
Mm-mm.
like, okay, I don't know what that's gonna do." So I did it. And then na-shock ako kasi sa nakita ko, sa nangyari sa akin when I
Oo.
did that. Because sanay na ako sa meditation, right? Sanay na ako for
Mm-mm.
like 2 years prior. I've been meditating regularly. And then that was the first time like I saw a glimpse of something that I knew wasn't made up by my imagination. I was like,
Okay, oo.
okay, this is weird. Like, why did I see like this super magical place
Mm-mm.
that
While holding the crystal.
while holding the
Mm.
crystal?
Mm-mm.
So parang, okay, that was not a figment of my imagination. It was definitely not. I know
Mm-mm.
there's something there. So parang that's the time when I said, okay, I'm gonna take meditation more seriously, and then doon na ako natuto ng iba't ibang kinds of meditation, ganyan. And then, so after that, nag-enroll na rin ako sa tarot class. And then, I found myself in pathways. Ano
Yay!
din, parang may nag-invite din sa akin na friend. And then, ayun, the rest is history. Now, here we are.
Yay!
Ang haba ng kwento.
It's okay. Deep breath. Deep breath natin. Ang dami nun.
Yan.
Okay, let's let it all sink in. I
Mm,
think it's been a really beautiful journey.
mm.
Personally, I'm very surprised na you had an experience then in meditating with a crystal, and then you were able to see something while meditating with a crystal.
Yes.
Kasi I had a similar experience for the very first time. Like my friend gave me an amethyst, and then she said, "You know what, Je, just try it. Try mo lang. Go, try." Tapos habang nagme-meditate pala ako, nilagyan niya din ako ng selenite sa kamay, and then like she was cleansing my body with incense. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Just focus on meditating." Like, and then dun na nakita ko yung parang ancient ruins, and then everybody was running kasi there was a massive purple explosion from the ground. That was something else. It was something else.
Wow.
Mm-mm. And that's why too, just like you, that's why I took meditation seriously.
'Di ba? Parang how can you
Oo.
deny that? Na it's such a mystical experience. And 'di ba? Parang it gets you curious, and then dun na rabbit hole na talaga pag nagsimula na 'yan.
Yes, totoo, totoo. Oh my. Well, runners, tsaka pathways community. That's why we're talking about maintaining curiosity and expanding knowledge, the intellectual
Yes.
dimension.
You
There
know
we
what?
go.
Speaking of knowledge and intellect,
Mm-mm.
ano kasi, I mean, in light of the recent Gemini full moon, which was yesterday.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So Sagittarius Sun Gemini Moon. Ako Saggy Sun Gemini Moon din ako. So
Okay.
so mga Gemini kasi yan yung mga mahilig magbasa, mahilig mag-aral.
Mm-mm.
Sagittarius also but on a higher perspective. But Geminis yung may mga bookworms I would say in
Mm-mm.
general.
Mm-mm.
So I would just like to touch on the balance between intellect and intuition.
Ooh.
Kasi, can I
Mm.
talk about that?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely go ahead.
Wala lang kasi na-bring up na
Oo.
natin yung
Oh,
intellect
yes,
eh.
yes, yes.
Parang,
Oo.
naisip ko kasi that the intellect is a very, parang masculine. It's the masculine side and the intuition is the feminine side. So,
Mhm.
I know a lot of people kasi who focus on acquiring knowledge. Tas walang
Mm-mm.
application. And then that's where the feminine or the intuition or creativity comes in. So it's all about finding the balance between the two. Parang hindi
Mm-mm.
rin kasi pwedeng puro intuition ka lang na parang lumilipad ka lang palagi, 'di ba? Merong mga taong gano'n na, yeah,
Yes.
like, I'm high all day, every day, but high
Oo.
on life, parang gano'n. So
Mm.
like for me personally, I think there really is a delicate balance between the two.
Oh, this
Mm.
is what Ate Det was able to mention then, and Mommy J was able to mention then before na in some point talaga kailangan natin ng balancing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it goes the same with intuition and
Intellect.
intellect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a
Kasi
lot. Okay.
ano eh,
Mm-mm.
parang yung intuition din natin yung pwedeng magbigay ng wait, sorry. Our intellect is what can give our intuition form in some way. Like for example,
Ah.
yung intuition mo, 'di ba? Ang dami mo nakukuha downloads. What do you do with those downloads? 'Di ba? You
Mm-mm.
give it form. I believe that these downloads are given to us for a reason. Like it's not really just meant to be kept to
Mm-mm.
yourself. Like why? If you think about it, what's the purpose of all of these divine messages if you're not going to use it for the greater good, 'di ba?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's where the masculine comes in. Like, how do you put form and structure into those downloads? And how can you to utilize it in such a way that it helps other people? Yeah.
Mm. Oh my, beautifully said.
Thank
Hala,
you.
oo
Thank you.
nga. I think that's why just reflecting back and I'm just realizing it then. I think that's why I am pushing so much then into doing podcasts because even if there aren't that much listeners, I just really want to get my downloads out there.
Mm.
One way or another, I'm hoping that it will help out someone or just one person, like it will be okay. Like, okay, thank you.
Yes,
Uh,
it doesn't matter like kung ilan ba yung matouch mong lives or kung isa lang, 'di ba? At
mm,
least meron. And then you know what? That's what I admire about podcasts kasi I've
mm-mm,
tried to, do podcasts a few times in my life then, but I
mm-mm,
don't know yet if it's a form that I can use to
mm-mm.
share my message kasi parang ewan ko for me meron akong blockage sa throat chakra ko.
Oh,
Tapos
okay.
ang
We're talking
daldal.
about chakras. Okay.
Biglang na-realize
Mm-mm.
ko, what the hell am I saying now?
It's
So,
okay. It's okay. Mm-mm.
pero yeah, I really admire podcasters. So I'm really grateful to be here, and um I really am grateful for your podcast because
Oh,
you're opening a lot of minds. So thanks for this.
mm-mm. Thank you. Thank you, Ate. So much. Oh my God.
Oh.
Mm-mm. Ayun. Oh, and speaking of podcasts, downloads, sharing,
Mhm,
and then balancing intuition and then intellect, finding a
mhm,
right balance between the two.
mhm.
Is there anything else you would like to add to the conversation before we talk about the questions, the main questions?
Hmm.
Um,
Sige, I think marami pa tayong masasagot dun sa questions. Sige, let's go.
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so runners, ito na, whip out your notes. Okay, get your pens, get your your books.
Yes.
Madami na naman tayo matututunan. Okay, so for those who are not yet familiar or who are struggling to know what is intuition?
Mhm,
Ano nga ba yun? Kasi na-touch upon din ni Ate that last episode that sometimes we cannot really differentiate ego and
mhm.
intuition. So maybe we can talk about intuition first. Ayan.
Right. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So I consulted with a dictionary on what this
Yay!
this word means. So
Mm-mm.
according to the Oxford Dictionary, it's the ability to understand something immediately without the
Mm-mm.
need for conscious reasoning. So it's also a thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. So other terms you could use to substitute for that word is instinct, sixth sense, or
Mm.
yung hunch or your gut feeling, di
Gut
ba?
feeling. Ayan.
Mm-mm. So sa Britannica Dictionary naman, it says here that it's a natural ability or power that makes it possible to know something without any proof or evidence. And it's a feeling that
Ooh.
guides a person to act a certain way without fully understanding why. So doon pa lang sa definitions na yon, so it's somewhat an inner knowing, right? An inner
Mm-mm.
knowing that you can't prove. You can't prove or you cannot validate through the five senses.
Yes.
So
Yes.
parang, 'di ba, parang pag if you get a, let's say, an instinctive or an intuitive hit, parang bigla mo na lang maiisip na, wait, I don't think this is safe. Parang ganon.
Mm-mm.
Or I don't think this is a good idea. But you can't explain why, but you just feel it. And I believe that intuition is something that everyone has. Like everyone was
Yes.
born with this universal gift because
Mm-mm.
um especially kasi yung mga children, 'di ba? Yung mga pagbata ka hindi ka pa conditioned kasi to prove things by, like, let's say with your eyesight or your hearing, or ano ba yung five senses natin? Sight, hearing, taste, touch, and
Smell.
smell.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm.
'Di ba? So we learn as we grow up, as we grow older, that we learn to rely on the five senses because these are the things that we can prove to the world.
Mm-mm.
So, ang intuition natin can come in the form of thoughts, of parang whispers, 'di ba?
My
When you
God.
say
Yes. Yes.
'di ba? When you say listen to your intuition, it's because you hear some people hear words,
Mm-mm.
um but most of the time it's a feeling. It's just a feeling. Some people kasi who are clairvoyant
Mm-mm.
see visions. So
Yes.
medyo mas ano na yon, mas ibang level na yon of intuitive ability. But most of us have that inner feeling a lot of times, but we just parang shrug it off kasi
Mm-mm.
sasabihin ng iba na, guni-guni mo lang yan, 'di ba?
Totoo.
'Di ba?
Yes.
Parang,
Conditioning.
paano mo nasabi? Sige nga, paano mo nga nasabi na si ganyan bad news si
Oo. Oh,
Cheverlu,
oh.
'di ba?
Yes, yes.
Wala lang, feeling ko lang, okay,
Oo.
you're crazy, you're delusional, delulu ka, 'di ba?
Oo.
So, we learn to not listen to our intuition because of the fact that we can't prove it
Mm.
um, until it's already happened, 'di ba?
Yes.
Kaya I would say that if you learn to listen to your intuition, like shed all of the layers of conditioning that taught you how to stop listening to your intuition, you would realize that your intuition is always guiding you towards the right path. It's like an inner compass. So so it's really the best way to know if you're journeying towards your purpose or your dharma, your higher purpose. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So that's what intuition is for me.
It is. Thank you. And I love what you said about it, Ate, kasi oftentimes, at least for me, I would feel like my intuition as a gut feeling, and then eventually it became whispers. It
Yeah.
became whispers. And then for the longest time, and thankfully I was able to open it up sub podcast then for the last like 3 years, I thought it was a ghost. I thought I was being haunted like by someone. But like it turns out like it was another energy. It also is a guide to me that was preventing me from danger. And then iba pa
Mm.
yung intuition ko dun. So I'm thankful that I have this notes that I was able to like write all the things na nararamdaman ko, and then I was able to see a pattern, and I'm grateful na to have a community where I
Mhm.
can talk to them about this, and then openly and lovingly without any judgment, and then I would get answers like, yes. Oh my
Yes,
god.
'di ba? It's so helpful to be able to speak to people who understand, na hindi ka
Mm.
i-ju-judge na delulu ka.
Yes, because like I would get na okay, no judgment to any religions out there, and then like of course I love my mom, I love my dad, but sometimes like they would dismiss me with those words na, tulog ka, computer mo kasi yan eh. Like, what, mom? Like,
True.
oh,
Pero
mm-mm.
you mentioned that you write down the things that you're feeling. That's why journaling is so important. Like
Yes.
aside from meditation to develop um those visions or those hits, those downloads,
Mm-mm.
journaling is actually a way to validate those intuitive hits, those downloads, kasi that's how you, 'di ba sabi ko nga kanina, I mentioned that there's no way of proving until it's already happened.
Happened.
So it's
Yes.
always good to keep a record of all of your intuitive hits.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's good practice.
Yes.
Mm.
And if you're someone who's like me, who likes to write dates, especially the time, I would look back on my journal and then meet some people, and then apparently may synchronicities pala na nangyayari. So it hits
Mm-mm.
differently when you know that. Na, oh my god, talaga nangyari din sa'yo to. Like, like, ganun.
Yeah. Tsaka journaling also taught me that I really can't rely on my memory. Makalimutin kasi ako. Tsaka parang bigla na lang when I would go back on my old journal entries, parang, shock, sinulat ko pala to na I don't even remember. And then things that happen presently are making sense because
Mm-mm.
this is what happened during the time na ganyan-ganyan. So yeah, journaling is so important. I would I
Totoo.
cannot recommend it.
Yes. And for those people who don't really like writing, kasi, grammar, hindi mo na mag-English, like, natamad ako magsulat. I mean, you have your phone, you can take a
Yeah.
video, take a photo, like,
And no
it's
one's judging you because you're the only one reading it, right?
exactly.
So, okay lang
Mm-mm.
mag-Taglish ka diyan, kahit Tagalog. Tapos, yung kunwari, gumawa ka na rin ng sarili mong lengguwahe na ikaw lang nakakaintindi. Actually, there,
Yeah.
meron akong ibang entries na sa sobrang gulo ng utak ko, I would just write words or keywords. Like, I don't
Mm-
even need to formulate sentences. Basta
Mm-mm.
just the keywords are there because that's what's important.
And
Mm.
then you would remember the download na while you were reading it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's helpful. See, runners, we're learning a lot already.
Yeah.
Mm. Ayun. Thank you. Oh,
Mhm.
Ate Ash, of course, speaking of intuition, from your experience, kasi I've seen a lot of this online, especially in Instagram, that there would be like exercises or practices on how we can strengthen our intuition. Like, naalala ko, may nakita ko kagabi na, okay, try to guess what color is the flower. And then I was like,
Oh my goodness.
ganon.
You know what? I always
Uh,
get that wrong.
same.
So well, I guess it works for some people, but parang guesswork yan eh. I would suggest, okay, there are a few exercises. Well, definitely the number one thing that I can recommend is meditation, because it's
Mm-mm.
in quieting your mind that you hear the messages of the divine. So that's number one. There are also techniques such as the Silva method, if you've heard of it. Like, it's
Oh.
parang program siya that it programs your mind to be able to access different brainwave states faster.
Okay.
Kasi
Ooh.
when we're in the alpha brainwave state, that's when we get those downloads better. Kasi pag
Mm-mm.
naka-beta tayo, which is like right now, parang
Mm-hmm.
yung gising na gising ka, that's your logical mind running na eh. And then, di ba, for example, when you're on the brink of sleep, that's the
Mm-mm.
theta state naman, I believe.
Oh,
And
yes,
then,
yes. Mm.
that's doon ako pinaka nakakakuha ng visions when I'm in that state. So the Silva method actually teaches you how to get into those brainwave states faster. Na hindi mo na kailangan makatulog or to meditate for hours. Kasi that's
Mm.
how I used to do it when I was starting out. And then sabi ko,
Mm.
sige, I'll meditate longer. Let's see what happens. Well, it did work for me. Like,
Mm.
I did get a lot of visions, but
Mm.
there's a faster way, which is the
The
Silva
Silva
method.
method.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's that. What else? Um oh, the most important pala.
Mm.
So meditation, anyone can do that, right? But
Mm.
it's not, well, it's just, it's it's easier said than done, by the way, because when people I would have people ask me na, how do you paano mo buksan yung third eye mo, 'di ba? Yan
Oh,
yung
yeah.
common na sinasabi.
Oo.
Pwede mo bang buksan yung third eye ko? Tapos
Mm.
I would be like, no, I don't do that. Like, I can't
Mm.
do some energy thing on you to open your third eye or whatever. But
Mm.
I would always recommend to them, mag-meditate ka. And then I would get met with so much resistance all of the time. Like, ha,
Mm.
meditation? Hindi ko kaya yan kasi sobrang dami kong iniisip palagi.
Yes.
Or like, that's boring, ganyan-ganyan.
Mm.
Tapos what I would answer to them is, well, that's really the key. Meditation is key.
Yes.
And if I can do it, you can, because that's why I had insomnia before. It's because of my
Mm.
overthinking. As in,
Mm.
I would overthink at night to the point
Mm.
that when I would try to sleep, nagtitwitch na ako. Yung body ko
Hala.
nagtitwitch sa sobrang dami kong iniisip. So
Mm.
I would say that I was one of the biggest overthinkers before, until I learned meditation. So if I can do it, you
Oh.
can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. And it
So
doesn't even have to be like very long, 'di ba? It can be like 10 minutes or
yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah, start
Mm.
small, yeah. Yung mga monk, yung mga meditate ng hours,
Yes.
parang ibang level na yon. So, I
Mm.
would suggest it can be just as short as 5 to 10 minutes a day, but if you do it regularly, consistently, then it's gonna do a lot of wonders for you. Like, I cannot even explain
Mm.
how, but so you just need to see and feel it for yourself, experience it for yourself. And that's parang the first thing you really need to do is just try it.
Agreed.
Mm-mm.
Agreed. I
Yung
completely.
mga mindfulness meditations is what I would suggest. Mindfulness. There's also grounding meditations,
Oh.
which I used to do that a lot as well, and it really helped me for the earlier parts of my meditation journey.
Mm-mm.
Right now, I don't do guided meditations anymore. So I have my own, I would say, method,
Mm-mm.
which wherein I would just meditate on nothingness, and that's yun kasi yung, I would say, secret sauce to getting the downloads, the divine messages. If it that it's when you're not thinking of anything anymore, as in, well, zero thoughts,
Mm-mm.
and then dun na papasok yung, that's how you tune into the frequency of the universe. But to get there, you really need to practice yung mga guided meditations. It's really helpful.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm. And ito na yung
Oh.
sinasabi natin na
Mhm.
you have to do the work. So we're slowly unveiling what does do the work mean, okay? That's
Yes, yes. As in, effort talaga siya, but I'm telling you guys, the rewards are priceless. So
mm,
aside from meditation, aside from these methods, I would say that one thing that really enhanced my intuitive abilities was healing,
mm,
inner work, shadow work. Like, I could not stress it enough how much of a difference this made in my life in a lot of aspects,
ah,
including my intuition. As in, yun yung hindi, it's not talked about much in the spiritual community or in the intuitive community, how healing, how shedding layers of your ego, healing your
mm.
wounds, doing shadow
Yes.
work
Yes.
actually makes you more in tune and in flow.
Mm.
Kasi you mentioned that in the previous episode, si Det, she
Mm.
mentioned yung how to differentiate between the ego and intuition. That's how you actually differentiate the voices of your ego and your
Oh.
intuition. Kailangan mong kilalanin yung boses ng ego mo eh.
Mm.
And the only way to do that is through shadow work. So, and then once you know the voice of your ego, ma-discern mo which one's which. And then
Mm.
makikilala mo na rin kung sino ba yung intuition. Like, how does your intuition speak
Yes.
to you? Yeah, there.
Mm. Wow. Right, thank you. Thank you, Ate Ash. Okay, like deep breaths. Deep breaths. Ang dami
Grabe,
nun.
I just
Okay.
like, niluwa ko
Uh,
lang lahat nun.
and then, as mommy would say it, like we're in a state of flow. So,
Yes.
yay! Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. And as we already like talk about it a little bit kanina,
Mhm.
na healing our past wounds can allow us to be more in tune with our intuition. And I think that's one of the most important things we can learn then, like shadow work. Because rather than us projecting our feelings towards other people, like we should learn how to do the work muna, you know,
Yeah.
with ourselves.
Yes.
Ayun. Mm-mm.
So I feel like the reason why it's not talked about so much is
Mm-mm.
because yung the the methods that I see that are being taught for intuition development are the easier ones, right? Like how
Mm-hmm.
to meditate. Tas yung Silva method, it's fairly easy also to learn. Um, yung yung shadow work talaga kasi ang hirap niyang gawin. It's such a painful process. It's a grueling process, but it's
Mm-mm.
actually the most effective if you if if the intuition is something that you wanna enhance and develop. Like, it's wala talagang tatalo sa shadow work in terms of, like, I wasn't this in tune with my intuition from just meditating. Like, okay,
Mm-mm.
fine, I would see visions, but I was able to hear words,
Mm-mm.
or And parang mas lumakas lang talaga yung intuition ko when I started to heal.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I see. So again, runners, that's why you have to do the work. Okay. And if you would
Mhm.
like go back to the previous episode and then review your notes. Kasi dun pa lang, my goodness, that's one of the first steps into doing the work.
Mhm.
Yon.
Yes.
Mm-mm. Thank you. Oh, so Ate Ash, is there anything else you would like to add about like intuition or like
Mhm.
exercises or practices? Mm-mm.
I believe that's it. Yeah, for now. Parang yun
Oh.
lang yung at the top of my head, like the most effective ways to do it. Oh, and also, okay, I just remembered that there are ways to validate your intuition as well, like tarot reading. Like there are other tools to validate. Kasi I would also use the tarot to validate my downloads. Like for
Mm-mm.
example, there would be times when I would feel like, okay, I feel like this is a good decision. Let's check with the tarot. And then the tarot says the opposite. Dun ko rin siya napapractice until my intuition and the tarot become one. So
Mm-mm.
parang I have these tools to validate or to debunk whatever it
Mm-mm.
is that yung mga instincts ko. So that's
Mm-mm.
one thing that's really helped me through my journey. There's also human design.
Hey, hey, yes, yes.
Yes. You know what?
Oo.
Ito kasi, so when it comes to timing and intuition, are we gonna get into that na?
Oh, yes, definitely. Go back.
Sige, kasi I realized then with timing, it's not the same for everyone. In human design kasi, which is it's a modality that it's kind of like astrology for those of you who don't know it. It's kind of like astrology in the sense that it involves the planets. There's also I Ching and Kabbalah. So it's a mixture of other modalities to form a new one, which actually tells you what energy type you are, like how your aura works,
Mm-mm.
and how you can best work with your unique energy. So for
Ah.
example, so kasi I'm a projector in human design, that's my energy type.
Mm-mm.
So there's also this thing called authority in human design. Like for
Mm.
example, I'm a splenic authority, meaning my decisions are best made on the spot.
Oh,
So yung
okay.
timing ko palagi is kailangan kung kailan ko na feel yung intuitive hit, I need to
Mm-mm.
act on it. Or like I need to listen to that split second na kutob ko.
Mm-mm.
And it's different for other people. Like for example, if you have emotional authority,
Mm-mm.
um, these are the people who need to let their emotions or excitement die down first before making a decision on anything. As opposed
Ooh.
to pag splenic kami kailangan in the moment. Because
Mm-mm.
that intuitive hit won't come back anymore for us. But for emotional nga, so they need to sleep it off. Yung mga
Yes.
emotional authority, yung mga pag nag-aaway, kailangan itulog
Mm-mm.
muna.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
So there are
Ah.
also people with like the reflectors who have lunar authority, which means they need to wait 28 days before making a big
Oh,
decision.
that's why.
So
Okay.
iba-iba talaga yung timing natin lahat, and we would see that sa human design natin.
Okay. Oh,
Mm.
so oh my God, Ate Ash, are we giving the runners homework? Are we giving them
Yes.
homework? Yes.
Punta
Okay.
kayo sa you guys can check your human design at humdesk, as in whomdesk.com.
Oh, okay.
Meron na rin mga explanations doon.
Humdesk.com. Okay.
Yes.
Future Jerome, in the chat box, please. Type mo dyan. And then future Jerome too, like right now, edit mo na lang. So ito yung pinaka-website. Bam.
Thanks, future
Nandiyan.
Jerome.
Yes. Nandiyan na yan. Okay, you can see it. Ito yan. So yes, please get your human design and take note of it. All you have to do is input your birth date, your birth time. Saan may kita yung birth time? Sa birth certificate nyo. Tingnan nyo po doon.
Yes. Or tanong niyo yung mom niyo. Pero hindi reliable most of the time. Kailangan talaga sa birth cert.
Yes. See, may purpose din ng birth certificate, guys.
Yes.
Yay, may homework kami.
Nako, rabbit hole din yan. Hindi na ako
Mm.
nakakatulog nung natutunan ko yung human design eh.
Oh. I
Mm,
feel like hindi pa ako ganun kalalim sa rabbit hole, but I was able to learn more about human design when you like had this post on Facebook na introduce yourself with your astrological
yeah.
symbols,
Your
yung sun,
sun,
moon, and
moon,
then
rise. Yeah.
rising, and then life path number. I remember correctly, I'm four. Paano ba yun natin? Like 4/1 or 4/1?
Oh, we're the same pala. I'm also a
Ah,
4-1.
okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Four
Um,
and then your energy type, are you a
oh.
manifesting generator or generator?
Okay, meron akong opportunist investigator and manifesting generator.
Okay. And then your authority.
My authority, that would be the ano, no? Like, yung kasunod nun. Yung
Oh,
kasunod
yeah,
nun.
yes.
Okay, see, like the runners, okay,
Sacral,
okay.
ba? Sacral?
Okay, we're being guided. Solar plexus, emotional.
Yun, emotional authority ka pala. So, like what I said earlier about emotional authority, when
Mm.
you're making decisions, you need to let your emotions die down first.
Oh my God!
Hindi puwedeng magde-decide ka 'pag galit ka, hindi puwede yun.
Mm.
Because you may, like, it's probable that you may, make the wrong one.
Yes. I think that's why I strongly resonate with lines na nagsasabi na okay, take a deep breath before you make a decision, or take a deep breath before you let your guard down. And I was like, okay, oh my God, see, validation. Know your
'Di
human
ba?
design, runners.
Yes. So,
Mm-mm.
'di ba, this is the perfect marriage of intellect and intuition, right? So,
Yes.
there are all of these, there's all of this knowledge that's available for you to be able to understand your intuition more.
Mm-mm.
So,
Definitely.
'di ba?
Uh, And I feel like tawag dito again, runners, as what you have witnessed just now, I don't really have like a screenshot of it. I just like took note of what was my human design, pero hindi ko pa talaga alam yung pinaka meaning. Once you know the meaning, like right now what you saw, it was a genuine reaction, okay? It was a genuine reaction. Na, oh my God, oo nga no. So yeah,
You know
let's do the
what?
work.
Yeah, okay. So, a little thing to note about 4-1 kasi I gets ko yan, 4-1 din ako. So
Mm-mm.
we are people who are meant to bridge, like, we're meant to be bridges. Like, so because yung 4 means we're opportunists, meaning like we get our opportunities from our network.
Okay.
So like we're people who have, we like people, like we like meeting new people, we like
Yeah.
networking, and
Mm-mm.
that's where we get our opportunities. Now, dahil may one tayo, the one is the investigator. So
Mm-mm.
we like to research, like we like to research about the people that we just met, ganyan. And
Ah,
then, so ako super hilig ko mag-research. That's why sobrang 'pag may rabbit hole talaga, tatalon talaga ako. Gano'n,
mm.
gano'n kalala. So,
Yes.
parang bye!
See you later.
Yeah.
Oo.
So using that, those energies of opportunist and investigator, like we do well with bridging people. Parang basta parang we
Mm.
do well with introducing people to other people, and then sila na yung mag-connect, and then they'll make that relationship will become a nice one, parang ganon. A very
Okay.
productive relationship. So tayo yung taga-pakilala, ganyan.
Oo. That's why. Because like there was a point in the podcast where I seemingly joked na Runaway Podcast, bringing people together. Kasi ang
Yun!
dami,
That's
ang daming
exactly what it
nag-miss
is!
nila. Oo.
Galing. Nice,
Mm.
nice.
Grabe. Si Mommy J, wala po talagang tapon. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you.
Wala talaga.
Mm. Oh, and Ate Ash, I would like to ask you then, and of course, probably like the runners and pathways community are also curious then. I would also share later on, but have you ever experienced like a situation where your intuition told you one thing,
Mhm.
but the timing was, not that right to act on it? And how did it play out?
Hmm. I guess, you know what? One example would be how we met.
Yes, definitely.
Ah,
Ayan.
kasi
Oo.
my intuition told me, whoa, this is good. This is good. Like, yes, you should go on that podcast and guest and talk about your spiritual journey.
Mm.
But yung timing wasn't right at the time, which, you know what, I personally believe
Mm.
that even if timing seems off, it's
Mm.
always right, because it's
Yes.
always a divine timing. So if
Agree.
even if it seemed as if mali yung timing natin dati, it led to really good things. Like, it led to you discovering pathways also, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Diba? Tapos, that's really just my personal belief na whenever something happens, it's always because it was the right time.
Totoo, totoo.
Mm-mm.
Um, Not to, well, pun intended, but, minsan kailangan na lang talaga natin iasa sa tadhana. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
O di kaya bahala na.
Kasi, bahala na.
You got it. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, go.
Grabe naman yan. Sample
Mm.
nga. De, joke.
Oh, baka mag-click away sila. Okay, guys. Mm.
Pero, okay, how do I explain this? Na, because if your intuition is, you think, you
Mm,
feel like your intuition is telling you to do something right
mm,
now,
mm.
it's, and then it doesn't happen,
Mm.
parang, I feel like it might not have been your intuition. Kasi your
Oh.
intuition will always be, like, will always follow the divine timing, I believe. So it's kind
Okay.
of like a complicated concept na palaging tama yung timing. It's never wrong. Like,
Totoo.
for example,
Mm.
I get into a relationship and my intuition says, "Oh, this guy's nice. Like, I feel
Mm.
like he's a good guy." And
Mm.
then, um, biglang ma-realize mo, or you'll find out that niloko ka, 'di ba?
Mm.
You can't tell yourself na, oh, my intuition's off, why did I not see that? um
Ah.
'Di ba, because your intuition parang gives you hits at the right time.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
I
Parang
have
gano'n.
to agree. Oh my. Okay, so ito na mag-share na ako, ate.
Okay, go.
Okay. So I'm gonna share with a relationship then. And some of the runners were able to like pick up like who I'm gonna talk about. So shush, okay, shush. So
Okay.
like there was a time where I really had a messy yet good relationship with someone. But then like somewhere down that relationship, I felt guilty. Like I was really, really guilty kasi my guilt of doing something really bad from the past, like hindi ko na siya ma-ignore. Kasi before that relationship, like runners, big bomb. Okay, big bomb. One, two, three. I cheated. Um, for the wrongest reasons, and from that relationship, hindi naging maganda for me kasi deep down inside, like it was eating me alive already. And
Mhm.
then as I try to preface it na this is no longer working for me and I'm really sorry, it's not you, it's me. Not that part, that cliche, that's that cliche. We didn't really communicate well, but this is where my intuition told me just to take a chance for yourself na talaga. I remember, like, looking back now, there would be times na I would have more time to myself and then I will be given like promotions dun sa work na hindi, okay, so unahin mo muna talaga yung sarili mo.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if this is also intuition related, but this was also the time where my guide was making itself known talaga in my life na, hey, yeah, time to go, buddy, time to go. Ayun. So, yeah, it
Yeah. I think that was your intuition. Like when you mentioned that your guide was making herself known.
mm-mm,
I believe that it really takes a certain amount of belief in your own intuition to be able to actually say that there's another energy that's guiding me, even if I can't see it,
mm,
even if I can't see
yes,
her or him, diba?
mm-mm.
Oh.
Tama. Oh my. Okay, so deep breaths. Deep breaths. Whoo. Okay, that was something.
Yeah.
Mm. Ayun. Now, Ate Ash, we're nearing to the end of the episode na. So what if, okay, let's just say that we've already done the work. Okay, medyo
Mhm.
in tune na yung intuition natin and we're aware of our past wounds na, of our shadows, nabigyan na ng light. We're already starting to journal then.
Mhm.
So, how can we handle situations naman where our intuition suggests like a need for a quick action na, hindi, ito na. Pero yung timing, it advises to take more of a patient approach.
Hmm.
Ayun.
I
Mm-mm.
think I think this is where human design comes into play.
Mm,
Kasi
mm-mm.
like for example, when intuition suggests a need for quick action, that's most probably for splenic authority na
Mm-mm.
projectors. But if you say that external factors advise a more patient approach, there are a lot of ways. I mean, for me personally, there are a lot of tools that I use
Ah,
to be
okay.
able to validate like
Mm-mm.
tama ba yung intuition ko. So there's the tarot, and then I also
Mm-mm.
check the timing if ever, like through astrology,
Mm-mm.
when like I always keep myself updated with transits.
Okay.
I'm not a really good, like I'm not good enough in astrology to be able to read my own transits. So there's always YouTube for that. There are a lot of
Yay.
really good astrology content creators on YouTube. But it really just all boils down to really being able to listen and tune into that intuition, because it's always gonna be the right timing. When you feel like kailangan ngayon ko na gawin tong something, and then ililihis ka
Mm-mm.
ng universe. Well, that means it's the universe is doing that for a reason. Like for example, let's take this podcast again for example.
Mm-mm.
Nung teka, yung pusa ko magre-ready na siyang tumalon sa kandila ko, wait lang.
Oh my god. Okay, okay.
Na-distract
Go,
ako,
go, go.
wait
Okay, no
lang, wag
worries,
wag
no
mo
worries.
gagawin yan.
Okay, we can cut it out. We can cut it out. Uh,
Okay, so let's say with the example of this your podcast invitation to me a year
mm-mm.
ago, when my intuition said yes, let's do it, yes, and then siya na mismo yung nagbigay sa akin ng gagawin on the day sana that we were supposed to
Ah,
record the
Uh-uh.
session, and then
Mm-mm.
when you gave others other options, hindi rin ako pwede. So
Uh-uh.
like the synchronicities will really just come up to guide you
Mm-mm.
into that right timing. So it's really nothing to
Oh.
stress about, honestly. Like, pag when you feel like, oh, hindi ko nagawa yung kutob ko, hindi ko nasunod nung when I heard it, oh no, like I'm doomed.
Mm-mm.
No, no, because there's a reason na hindi mo nagawa yun nung time na yun, because there is
Yes.
actually a better time for it.
Mm-mm.
The universe will like, lagi lang tama yan. Promise, maniwala ka na lang.
Totoo.
Because
Totoo.
even if like, let's say for example, yung na-miss mo na you think yung right timing, if you miss that,
Mm-mm.
and then it leads to a certain consequence, and
Mm-mm.
then you will say to yourself, ayan kasi hindi ko sinunod yung kutob ko kaya ganyan. But maybe there was also a lesson to be learned for you there. That's why the universe made it so.
Yes. I feel like it. Kasi when I met Mommy J and then Ate Det, the very first thing talaga na sinabi sa akin ni Mommy J is, Jerome, please don't be too tough on yourself. And now looking back, like patapos na yung taon, there were times that I kind of felt like, oh, shit, am I not good enough kasi hindi nangyari tong ganitong bagay? And I was able to learn that it's not about really me. It's about the timing. So I have to learn that sometimes there are just things that are not yet ready, to be received by me, but it will eventually come back to you at the perfect time. Yes, Gypsy, thank
Exactly.
you.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oo daw, sabi ni Gypsy. Yes,
Uh-uh.
I agree. Gypsy says. But
Thanks,
yes,
Gypsy.
because at the end of the day, what's meant for you will inevitably find its way to you.
Yes.
Whatever happens, like what if you feel like it missed you somehow, if it's
Mm-mm.
really for you, then it will appear in your life. It will
Tama.
manifest into your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you,
Yes.
Ate. Oh, and of course, is there anything else you would like to add, Ate, um about anything, the topic before we wrap things up? Mm-mm.
Hmm. Okay, I think, oh, interesting, because I just posted this yesterday, and
Mm-mm.
it just so happens to medyo related siya
Mm-mm.
to the timing topic. But I just got a download also yesterday that I feel like there are people, or maybe it's a collective energy of feeling that rush to always be first, or that rush to yung kumahog
Yes, yes.
na to, like, for example, be a pioneer in something because you want to be first, because it means that it's something that belongs to you if you did something first.
Mm-mm.
So the it's kind of related to yun nga, balancing timing, or like understanding divine timing. It's because if you feel that pressure to always rush just so that you could finish first, or maybe so that, let's say for example, you want to be a pioneer in a certain healing modality, let's say.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Parang gusto mo mauna para isipin ng mga tao, oh, ikaw yung original, or something like
Mm-mm.
that. It comes from like, there are a lot of reasons kung bakit you may feel that you need to rush. Um, it's really worth looking into and worth doing shadow work for, kasi there, like, it can stem from, like, let's say, feelings of desires for recognition, or
Oh,
like,
yes.
'di ba?
Yes.
It can
Uh-oh.
also come from competition, na parang gusto mo ikaw yung una para ikaw yung panalo, parang gano'n. So,
Mm-mm.
um, but I guess all I wanted to say is that you just need to remember that there really is no rush. Like what I've mentioned earlier, like what's meant for you will always find you. So if you're rushing to achieve something, just because the like there's a time pressure for you that yun nga gusto mo mauna ganyan.
Mm-mm.
um it may even set you back further if you force something, like, so just trust in the divine timing. Yun lang yung lesson doon, like it's always
Oh.
that the universe will always bring things to you when you're ready for it.
Yes, I agree. And this is why to runners, journaling is important because if there will be times where you feel like you're doing nothing, like kind of feel useless, it's really important to write something down. That you have to trust the process and you have to continuously do the work. Self-soothing na din, for you. Self-validation. Yeah, self-validation na din.
Yes.
Ayun. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and is that one of your advice or words of encouragement
Oh
already,
yeah,
or is there
yes.
more? Uh-uh.
Yeah, I guess. And
Yeah.
maybe advice will really be to look into your human design. It's really a huge thing in understanding yourself, understanding your aura, how to best work with your energy.
Mm-mm.
Um, it does wonders to study your own human design. So that's a piece of advice that I can give also.
Agreed. Thank
Yeah.
you. So again, future Jerome and pop mo na yung screen. That's the link. That's the website that you may kita. No, just input your name, birth time, birthday, and birth location. Tama, Tash, no? Birth.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. And of course, the last one, where can we find you to show love and support to your
Mm.
projects?
You can find me. Well, I'm most active on my Facebook profile, not my page, because
Mm-mm.
I feel like my Facebook page is um is very commercialized and
Mm.
mas personal sa akin yung profile. So I really post all of my downloads there. If you guys are like curious about how this intuition thing works for me, ang dami kong pinopost palagi on my Facebook profile. That's facebook.com/Ashley Gosiengfiao. And I'm also on Instagram at Ashley Lee. And you guys can also check out my website, ashleygoshengfiao.com, because I'll
Ooh.
be updating it soon as well.
Yes. Mm-mm. Oh,
Yay!
and I almost forgot. Is it okay to tell the runners and pathways and the wolf pack then about your ongoing tarot
Oh, yeah.
booking? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
right. Thank you.
Mm-mm.
Thank you for
Okay.
reminding
Okay.
me.
Okay. Mm-mm.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. You can also book a tarot reading with me through my Instagram account for now, which is at ashlily.readings. But in the near future, I'll be accepting booking requests on my website. But for now, it's on IG muna.
Awesome. Ayan.
Yes, thank
So
you.
thank you. So future Jerome, please, everything. Alam mo na yan. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. You do the visuals. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And of course, before we officially end, Ate Ash, would you like to thank anyone? Mm-mm. Sorry, lack of words. Mm-mm.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jerome, for inviting me. And finally, it happened that
Mm-mm.
finally we got to do this episode.
Mm-mm.
Um, I would like to thank Pathways, of course, my mentors, our mentors, Mommy J
Mm-mm.
and Det, for continuously guiding us into our alignment, into our highest purpose, into meeting our highest selves. And
Yes.
last but not least, I would thank also my highest self, my highest
Ah.
self,
Mm-mm.
because it's really her, him, I don't know what
Mm.
gender. Wala tayong gender.
Yes.
So basta
Mm-mm.
siya yung making everything happen for this incarnation, this current incarnation. So thank you. Thanks,
Yes.
universe.
Mm-mm. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you so much then to Mommy J and Ate Det because without them, I wouldn't find a home. in pathways talaga.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Aw. Also,
Mm-mm.
thank you to the runners for
Oh,
listening.
oh yes, yes. Oo nga pala. Sorry, sorry. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, runners. Okay. So yeah, runners, that's it for Ashley. And next week we're gonna continue our 7 dimensions of wellness because we still have 4 weeks before the year ends. Okay.
Ooh, sakto.
Mm, yes. And then 4 more episodes.
Yeah, galing ah.
Woo! All right. So, runners, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast, run away with Runaway Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye. And that's it for this episode. If you like to support the podcast, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Runaway Podcast. Subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast, run away with Runaway Podcast.